Ukraine wants to be invited to start the process of joining NATO at the Alliance Summit in Vilnius, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will not attend unless the bloc's leaders show courage. This was stated in an interview with Reuters by Deputy Head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, Igor Zhovkva.
The President will not travel, not only to the summit. If the leaders will tend to show deficit of courage, while Ukraine, with all its courage and will and strength and high morale, is fighting against Russian aggression.
Kyiv expects that at the NATO summit the leaders of the alliance will respond to the application for joining NATO filed on September 30, 2022. Ukraine expects to receive concrete decisions regarding its future in the alliance, as well as security guarantees before NATO membership, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky said.
If the alliance wants to be powerful and does not see its existence without Ukraine, it is fair that we want to get at least some modality of our future in NATO, some specific things. We are asking about such specific things. We are not talking about today's membership. I emphasize once again, we are an adequate state and we understand that during the war we cannot be members of NATO, but we must be sure that after the war we will be there. And this is the signal we want to receive, that after the war Ukraine will be a member of NATO.
Kyiv's allies are divided over how soon Ukraine can become a member of NATO, but after the Wagner rebellion and Prigozhin's campaign against Moscow, when the top military and political leadership of the Federation demonstrated its inability to cope with the crisis, many of the allies' hesitation can be eliminated, experts say.
Therefore, I believe that it is in Vilnius, precisely after Prigozhin's failure to put up, that we need to demonstrate our strength and invite Ukraine to join NATO, to negotiations. This will be a new era, when NATO, Ukraine, will form the agenda in our region and prepare Russia for what it will have to put its nuclear weapons under control, because Ukraine and NATO will deal with this, and not Kadyrov, Prigozhin or some other bandits.
NATO should consider the possibility of Ukraine joining the alliance without fulfilling the requirements of the Membership Action Plan, British Defence Secretary Ben Wallace said.
After all, they're going to have the most experienced land forces in Europe and probably one of the most heavily armed countries in Europe. I think we should absolutely look at skipping the Membership Action Plan. But of course, we have to put some realism in this space that there are 31 members of NATO now. And, we have to all move together. But yes, the direction of travel should be towards NATO membership.
Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas is sure that in the name of peace in Europe, the members of the alliance must unite and make a joint decision.
The only thing that can end the cycle of aggressions against its neighbors is NATO membership. Hence, for peace, we need Ukraine in NATO. In Bucharest summit, allies agreed that Ukraine would become a member. This should not remain a hollow promise. What we need now is to define a practical path to meet this goal. And we need to send a strong message of hope to the Ukrainian soldiers in the trenches that with NATO membership on the horizon, they are fighting their last war with Russia.
Support for Ukraine will be a priority for the upcoming Alliance Summit, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg assured. The allies will agree on a multi-year aid package and will be able to bring Kyiv closer to full NATO membership.
But I'm absolutely confident that at the Vilnius summit, allies will find common ground also on how to address Ukraine's membership aspirations. And we have to remember that allies actually agree on many important messages and positions regarding Ukraine and membership of NATO. We all agree that NATO's door is open. We have demonstrated that recently by inviting Finland and Sweden. We all agree that Ukraine will become a member of this alliance, and we all agree that it's for the NATO allies and Ukraine to decide when the time is right to invite Ukraine to be a member of the alliance.
At the plenary session of the Verkhovna Rada on the occasion of the Constitution Day, President of Ukraine Zelensky emphasized that it is necessary that all our partners in the alliance stop looking at the Kremlin when making their important decisions. After all, the victory of Kyiv will free the world from the problem of a dangerous Moscow. As a full member of NATO, Ukraine guarantees peace and freedom in the region, Volodymyr Zelensky is sure. Reported by Serhiy Kulyas, Natalia Belokudrya, UATV News.